All right. Let's get to Mage because it's Flames main, so he probably is gonna have a lot of things to say. So Arcane Mage on Sun Fury, a slight nerf to single target, insignificant buff to AOE. This is post hotfix in the notes there, but Spellslinger, homie, and I believe Spellslinger is where it's at. I think this is the biggest buff on this list, apart from like Elemental Shaman Bug. Okay, so this is a 12.2% single target nerf. Don't look weird.
Oh no, I cannot say. I'm trying to.
It's a buff, you have to believe me. Buff. That's what I said. It's a buff. So the biggest buff. I said nerf? I'm sorry. I mean buff. I mean buff.
Yeah, that's good because...
So 12.2% single target and 14% AoE.
It was, I think it was about 10% single target behind, there was something around that, behind Sun Fury the entire time. So this buff is very important that it came in. Not to mention that Spellslinger, if I'm going to put my bias in, has been the #1 reason why I wanted to main Mage, because Arcane Spellslinger is just such stupid fun of procs, and obviously damage is nice, but it's not because the damage, is how your rotation just constantly shoots out arcane orbs all over the place. This is legit. If you're gonna play Mage at any point in time, you should definitely play Arcane Spellslinger, first of all. So it makes sense that the buff came in because it was very behind. Hopefully, we would have wanted this at the beginning of the season so that we don't just have the only one way to play Mage, which is Sun Fury Arcane or Sun Fury Fire if you really want to play Fire.
But dude, the buffs are huge. Come on,
yeah,
you gotta give props.
But it was very behind. So it's not, in terms of overall single target damage, I think it might be just 1 or 2% better than before.
Oh,
so
okay,
it's not as a class, as a spec, but Spellslinger was just behind what it normally did by about 10% or more, probably.
What about Fire Mage? Because I see a lot of good things happening with Fire Mage.
As deserved, Fire Mage was nerfed by 6%. Remember when Frost Decay was nerfed by 2 to 3% and everybody lost their mind? It's okay. Fire was nerfed by 6% because we all know that
and
Fire
it wasn't even needed. This is like, what's the logic behind this? Nobody understands what they're doing with Fire. Can you please enlighten us, Flame? So yeah.
So I don't know the entire picture, so I don't want people to quote me on this, but to my knowledge, Fire Mage has had a difficult couple of weeks where there was a particular talent that skewed its single target performance, Control Destruction, which is scaling your ignite damage at the course of a fight until it reaches 50 stacks, and normally was supposed to scale your damage to 25% extra ignite damage, but at one point in the week it scaled it to 50%, if I recall correctly, but I might be wrong. When that happened, there was a bug where Fire Mage did more damage. That's probably when WoW had also released those articles of, oh, Fire Mage is S tier, everybody lost their shit. They announced the nerf. So if I'm not mistaken, they've nerfed Fire Mage and they've also fixed the bug that was doing more damage. So you double dip on lowering Fire Mage's overall DPS. Now, Fire Mage is not simming super behind everybody else, right? It's right now, Fire single target is the worst single target out of the entire Mage kit. I know Preheat has done a video where he showcases all of the sims for everything, and even if you take the single target that Fire Mage does, it's not the end of the world. It's still a viable spec. You can still actually play it. What the problem is that why is it nerfed? It was not the best Mage spec. It wasn't even the best DPS spec.
What do you mean, man? We saw on WoW hit that ranking and he was crushing it, man. I saw it like Fire Mage meta.
And they buffed Living Bomb and actually played it today. If you play a Living Bomb build, you will do tank level single target damage. So I don't understand it anymore, man. Maybe we just don't get Fire Mage. I've had this discussion before as well with other players. Like, why is this happening? Like, they gave developer notes for a lot of stuff. Why not for this? When every week it seems like it's either buff or nerf, a buff or nerf for a spec that's middle of the pack. It's just middle of the pack. Like, why? When you're buffing ferals, which are probably around the same. Now, if you look at the rankings right now, you might see this posted or whatever in one of our YouTube videos. Fire Mage is below average, and it has been below average before the nerfs. Why?
No,
I don't understand.
They have a vendetta against them or something, man. They just want to like burn. Pun intended.
We mentioned at the beginning that there are some buffs and nerfs that are good. The Arcane ones are good. Arcane has been overperforming the entire season and has been knocked down a peg a little bit at a time. Sometimes there's a bug, they fix it, they introduce a new talent to fix a bug. That is fucking fantastic design. In the meantime, Fire is like, I'm just gonna throw this at the wall. If it sticks, it's a buff. If it falls down, it's a nerf. And most likely it's just a hard, solid thing that never sticks to the wall.
Yeah. But Frost Mage also got a single target buff 8%.
Yeah, it was
time to switch to Frost.
Prior to this, I think Frost was the worst single target damage, and obviously now
it's doing good. But I think it will not match the levels of Fire Mage. Not yet. I'm sorry. Fire Mage is still gonna be meta because I saw on a tier list, man. I saw it in the tier list on Wowhead. It was really, really good.